traders, it's John Howell here from johnjhowell.com. Let me get into this video. In this video, I'm going to show you what the market is really doing at this moment. Are we changing trends? Are we going from an uptrend to a downtrend? Or are we staying in the uptrend as we speak? And how do we know we're staying in the uptrend? Or how do we know if we're changing trends? That's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. Okay, well the first thing we need to do is we need to understand what is happening in the market right now as we speak. And the reason why I say that is because so many people out there are saying, you know what, we're still in a bullish market. And then some people, or a lot of people are here, were saying we are now changing trends. We are now looking for more downside. You know, they could be right. Well, they have to be right, right? The market's either going to go up or down. But in saying that, all in all, when we look at this market, when we look at the overall market itself, we need to analyze the chart and not other people's opinion to then view our opinion based on what the chart says, not what everyone else says. Right, so let's go to the weekly chart now. We're looking at a daily chart here, and I want to go to a weekly chart, okay? Because the weekly chart is the thing we should be looking at. Okay, and let's just squeeze this chart up, okay? So whenever, this is what I want you to do, and I want to teach you a bit of lesson here, that whenever you're viewing the market, and whenever you say, okay, the market's dropping, or the market's rising, or the market's falling, or the market's changing trend, or the market's continuing trend, you need to analyze this thing here, it's called the weekly chart. You need to compress the chart up as sort of like maybe 12 to 24 months to get a real good overview of what the market's doing, and then you could start to view your own opinion. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to analyze the peaks and troughs. Okay, we need to first analyze the peaks and also the troughs. So for example, up here we have the peak up here, and we have the trough here. We have a trough and we have a peak. Market runs down sideways, bit of a trough up here and a peak up here. And as we can see, if we have peaks are lower and we have troughs are lower, then we simply have a downtrend. Okay. When we have the market going in a downtrend, we have lower peaks, lower troughs. Okay. Now, when that happens, the market simply says we continue to go lower. Now, let me remove that. And what I want to show you here is when the market's generally going to change trend, it's generally going to give you a bit of an overview or overall view or overall direction, hint, guide, whatever you're going to call it, of a trend changing possibility. Generally the charts would tell you this. And how does this happen? Well, let's simply go here. Okay, we have a peak, and then we have another peak. Okay, and let's call this this is another peak up here. Okay, so we have consecutive lower peaks, come down, peak, and then we have, what do we have here? We have another peak here. Okay, so we have consecutive peaks are lower, market's trending down. So when the market's making these lower peaks and it keeps falling down overall, well, the sells are in control. But if the market runs up and suddenly does this, see that? Where we simply, let's just make this a different color. Here we go. Where we simply have made a higher high. Okay, a higher high or a higher peak. That is the trend change warning that the market is showing more strength now than it has in a long time. It has to be, because if the market keeps knocking it down, keep giving lower peaks, and lower peaks, we keep seeing the stair step down. But if we suddenly get a stair step up, what classes as an uptrend? Okay, an uptrend has higher peaks and higher troughs. What do we have? We have the trough, we have the peak, we have the trough, we have the peak, and notice that they're higher. Okay, notice that, let me just change this color here, let me make it green. Notice the troughs are higher, and also peaks are higher as well. Therefore, we have an uptrend. What do we have in a downtrend? This is an uptrend. This is for a downtrend. What do we have in a downtrend? We simply have lower peaks and lower troughs. What happens here? Well, we have the peaks are lower and the troughs lower. This is so simple, but sometimes we totally forget what actually what happens here. And so therefore, what happens is we have an overall peaks are lower, and then we have troughs lower. So if that's the case right here, right now, what's happening? Well, therefore this bit here is actually showing us a trend change warning, okay? By giving us the overall higher. Let's see if this works. Beautiful. By giving us the overall higher peak. That was the trend change warning. We're no longer having a downtrend, but possibly sideways to now more possibly up. We just need to confirm it. And what do we need to confirm it? Well, we need the market to, let's change this width here. We need the market to obviously hold the strength around here somewhere, which it did. Okay, hold the strength within the market, not to break a new low. This is the low here. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at this, we have a peak, broke a new low, came up, made a peak, broke a new low, came up, made a peak, broke a new low, came up, peak, broke a new low, came up, peak, broke a new low. So as you can see, the market continues to break new lows after it made a lower peak. Now, let me clear it off the chart here, and we'll simply do this. We had the higher peak here from this here, okay? Peak, peak, higher peak. So that was the trend change warning, and then suddenly the market did turn around here. This was the trough here, and after we blasted up through there, creating now a new high instead of a new low, that was the trend change warning. Now we're spending some more time to the upside. So if that's the case, okay, if we have lower peaks all the way down and suddenly we get a higher peak, well then, doesn't it make sense if we're gonna go to the downside, we're gonna do the exact same thing, okay? Because look at this. We have a trough. We have a trough. We have a trough. And we have a trough. Alright? Now let me zoom this in a bit more so we can see it a bit more clearly. Okay, and I want to show you this here. Because this is vitally important. What is the market doing right now? Let's see what the chart says. We have a trough. We have a high trough. We have a high trough. And we have a higher trough. What's this right here right now? Well, if we're here right now, as this little second, as I'm doing this recording, is the market going up or is the market going down? Well, is this still higher than this trough here? Well, of course it is, right? We have a trough, a higher trough, a higher trough. There's another little higher trough, and even though this is a bit longer, this might be a little trough here. This overall major trough is up here. Okay, now you might call this little bit here trough, but a trough is when the market comes up and then we have a bit of a pullback. Comes up, bit of a pullback, comes up, bit of a pullback. Okay, so you can see we've had the pullback, 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 run up, and a pullback. So we're overall still making higher troughs. The only point I do say in this is the market is still going up. Simple as that. Nothing other than that. Now, if we do start to break below this level here, as you can see, this level here, what's that? Around about, so just below about 1050 level, below the 1050 level, a bit of support there, as you can see. You can see the resistance here, support, and then also a bit of a support there as well, which is just a slight higher trough. We're still making a little higher trough right now, right? So the buyers are still in a trough. This is just a healthy pullback. Don't get fall in love with the downside at the moment, or don't think the market's now dropping, or don't think the trend changing, or anything like that, because the market is clearly showing us more upside right now. Okay, traders? So I want you to review this, because here, listen, I didn't come up with this, right? This is exactly how the market works. The market makes peaks and troughs, and it shows us if the market's going down, it has lower peaks and lower troughs. If the market goes up, it makes higher peaks, higher troughs. Okay, so anyway, I think you get my point here. I'm sorry for rambling on so much, but I want to make my point here. I've been so busy in my e-minis trading room at the moment, trying to serve and support them. I apologise I haven't done a video for you guys for a while, but I thought I'd release this video to show you guys. Listen, the market is still showing more strength here. So if anyone says the market's going up more, or the market's going down more, or we're now changing trend, we're now going from an uptrend to a downtrend. If that's the case, if we are going from an uptrend to a downtrend, don't just short your stocks or go short on a CFD or buy puts or do anything like that, or sell your stock, because you need to know what the market's doing. So you educate yourself, and this is one of the best things I ever learned from one of my mentors. Read the peaks and troughs alone, forget the indicators, and see what the market's doing. Okay, guys, I will talk to you very, very shortly. Thank you, traders, for the trading. Thank you, guys that are in the trading room. I appreciate your service, and you guys in the trading diary as well. Speak to you soon, guys. Oh, just one last thing. Give me feedback below here, okay? If you're on my blog, or even if you're on YouTube or whatever, give me feedback, okay? Let me know what you thought.